But let's see how this thing accelerates. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLS 450. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington, Utah for giving me some time with this GLS 450. This one is available for sale right now. If you're interested, check out the inventory in the description down below. Something that's awesome about the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one-price store, so they're going to make your buying experience super easy and straightforward. On a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that goes to a 9-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 362 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. And I love how they have to say 6-cylinder there on the engine cover. Also, it kind of looks like a spaceship with all the symmetry and everything, but there you go. Now let's go to the front end of the GLS 450. So first off, you have the little itty bitty Mercedes logo there on the hood, and you've got some really cool distinctive body lines here on the hood. They don't pop out too much with this particular white paint, but I still think it looks really good. Coming down below, you guys can see the daytime running lights with the LED headlights, super bright. And then it's pretty much all blacked out here on this side section. There is a parking sensor integrated into it, and then you guys can see kind of like the two little blades going across. And then notice here at the front grille, we've got another Mercedes logo, which is gigantic. There's a camera at the bottom of the logo, and then we have chrome trim off to either side. And then notice it's all blacked out here at the bottom with more parking sensors. And yeah, overall, it has this like large, imposing look, and I think it looks great. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front, and then 315mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the rear. Now if we go over the design of the wheel, notice that it's a star, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like a signature of Mercedes to do stars on their vehicles, and it kind of matches the logo, right? Anyways, you got the silver here on the top, black below that, and then notice here with the fender flares how those are body painted. Now we do also have air suspension here with the GLS, and then notice with the side steps right there, and you've got these little grip points here for your shoes so you don't slip around. Mirrors have been blacked out. Also the window trim around the windows has been blacked out. You got the rails there at the top, and it's a pretty big SUV, so I gotta step back quite a bit. But there's your full side view. Now here's our key fob for the GLS. Notice we've got our lock function, we got the Mercedes logo, the unlock, and then the opening here for the hatch. Hold that down and then it'll pop it right open. And if we pop inside here, we've got a cargo cover already with it. And then we have these seat controls for the one side to raise and lower them. And then we have seat controls for the other side to raise and lower them. And we have this for the air suspension to raise or lower it with the rear, so it makes loading things up a little bit easier. Notice with the seat folded down, you got quite a bit of storage space, but the seat folded up, it's actually still pretty practical, bigger than most SUVs that are actually this size, which is pretty impressive. And then notice here with the metallic plaques there on either side, which look great. But yeah, when you're all done with the rear area, you can lock it if you want from the rear, or you can just press this to lower it down. And there you go. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. So we've got this cool spoiler here at the top, and then notice we have our GLS 450 badge, 4Matic, and then here's a quick look at the taillight design. You got the chrome trim that goes all across the center, and got the covers over the exhaust tips. Black trim here at the parking sensors, and then notice we have a receiver hitch there in the center as well. And overall, I think with, you know, the big fender flares and everything, I think it's a good looking vehicle on the outside. Now here is the door panel in the rear. We've got beautiful leather trim here at the top and then down below, and it's actually brown on the bottom portion, which is pretty cool. Wood trim that goes across. We've got our seat adjustments here for the second row passengers. Speakers for the Burmester sound system, and then here's just the window control. Notice just all the controls look and feel really nice. And then here are these seats. So you can see here again with that beautiful brown leather, and it continues all down the center portion. We've got a Mercedes logo right there, and I'll actually pop in. Look at that vent right there. It's pretty cool. Just tons of legroom. Tons of headroom as well. And then notice here with little storage space, that is the most interesting looking cup holder on the planet. Wow. Got some vents there. We've got our climate controls here for the rear passengers. This one has the captain chair set up, as you can see, so we've got these cool armrests. Now as for the third row, you can fit adults back there in a pinch. I recommend reserving it for kids though, just like other SUVs in this segment. And then notice that they actually have their own like leather trim right here, so they've got some nice padding to rest their arms on. It's not just bare plastic like a lot of other third row SUVs. Anyways, let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. Again, you can see here with the leather trim. Here's a quick look at the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then look at the wood trim here with all of your seat adjustments. You have heated, cooled seats for the front. Another speaker for the Burmester sound system. Memory seats as well. And then the brown leather down below. All of our window controls, the mirrors do power fold in. And just look at the finish on those controls. Got that for the hatch. Another Mercedes logo, which is blinding me because of the sunlight. And notice here with the front seats perforated down the center portion, really nicely padded though, which is great. And then you get your lumbar adjustment there on the side of the seat. Pedals look fantastic. We've got our light controls right here, more wood trim here on the dash, and then at the very top, steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel with the GLS. Really nice wood trim here at the top and at the bottom. Then you got really nice leather here on either side. We have our controls here for the center stack. We've got our adaptive cruise control. We've got controls for the infotainment system, voice command, phone controls, paddle shifters here on the back for that 9-speed automatic. We have our turn signal windshield wiper stock, and then we have our column shifter in normal Mercedes-Benz fashion. And there's the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster. It's a full digital gauge cluster, and again, with that control on the left side of the steering wheel, I can scroll through some different menus to see different bits of info on it, and I can go into each individual gauge and also go through different bits of info. Super customizable. There's a bunch of different functions you can go through. Of course, you guys know my favorite is the design, so we're going to go to progressive for today because I think that looks cool. But yeah, there's the gauge cluster. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop into reverse, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And notice we got that bird's eye view as well. And then I can scroll through other different camera viewpoints here. So this full 360 camera system, resolution's fantastic. So from a camera system perspective, it's great. As for the rest of the infotainment system, again, I can control it with the steering wheel if I want. I can control it with the keypad down below if I want, or I can just use it as a regular touchscreen. Something I think is pretty cool about the GLS is with the climate system. Notice we have our first row, second row, and third row for the climate system. I can control all of it from the front, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And other than that, if we go over to comfort, you guys can see here with all the different ambient lighting. Mercedes just nails it with ambient lighting, but yeah, there you go. Now here are all the vents on the dash. Notice the wood trim behind them just looks fantastic, and then all the leather trim on the dash as well. And then you can see here we've got our analog controls for the climate system with a shortcut button to bring stuff up. And we have this little wood panel here that we can kind of use to cover up this whole section, which is like our cup hold area. And notice that it is heated or cooled, and you have like a little light. So blue, red. That is pretty cool. But yeah, really nice area, and it looks great with the wood trim covering all of it. We have the little keypad here, again with the wrist rest. Try to say that 20 times in a row. Analog controls like the volume controls, you know, radio, all that kind of stuff for the camera system. We do have our drive mode select. We have quite a few drive modes here. So at the top we got individual, we got sport, comfort, eco. You're probably going to drive it in comfort most of the time. Then you have your off-road mode as well, and that'll actually adjust the air suspension as well. You guys can see all the stuff that it gets adjusted with the drive modes. And then here is for the air suspension to raise or lower that. And notice we have our grab handles here on the side with the ambient lighting that goes around them. And then here's the center console. Tons of storage space there. And look how the leather trim and the stitching and everything kind of connects there. Big glove box. And again, the stitching connects across as well, which is pretty cool. And then finishing things up top here, you can see we've got a big panoramic sunroof. And we've got pretty regular sun visors, all that controls for the sunroof just right there, and there you go. There's way too much glare to see anything. Base price is $77,850. After all options on this one, $91,185 is the total MSRP. Let's see how it drives. Let's go over visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both of the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off in the GLS 450, and I think this is probably the more popular version of the GLS. I have reviewed the 580, but this has, you know, a lot of the same luxury feel at a lower price. Yes, it doesn't have the cool engine that's in the 580, the V8, but I think that this inline six is going to be more than enough for most people with an SUV in this particular segment, right? And we'll kind of talk about that as we're driving along. So first off, ride quality is exceptionally smooth. Again, this is the literal S-Class of SUVs, and so it's got this nice smooth ride quality to it, and you know, right, it's got the air suspension, everything. It kind of makes sense. That turn signal on the Audi is pretty cool. Not part of the review, but I thought I'd mention that. Anyways, seat comfort's great, really soft. Like, the padding and cushioning on the seats is fantastic. I think that Mercedes has absolutely nailed that, and this interior is just absolutely gorgeous. Like all the touch points, main touch points, other than the stocks here, right, feel really like high quality and premium. And yeah, it's just, again, I feel like I'm in this really nice upscale luxury vehicle, because it is a nice upscale luxury vehicle. But you know, you'd be surprised, some manufacturers will cheap out nowadays, and Mercedes is definitely not doing that. Also, there's literally an amusement park right by me, people screaming super loud. I can't hear it. I could hear it when I was outside the car, but inside the car, it's just so well dampened, I guess is what you could say. They've done a really good job with just making this feel luxurious. And I wasn't so sure about this infotainment system control here on the steering wheel when I first started reviewing some Mercedes models, but now I really like it, actually, because it's right here, so you can just, like, it's accessibility is great, and it's just, yeah, it's awesome. Now kind of getting up and moving here a little bit more. Oh, I guess that's an RS6. Ooh, those are pretty rare. Anyways, continuing to move along here. So floaty. It's comfortable though. Definitely feel the weight though. Definitely feel the weight. Let's pop it into sport mode. It'll kind of stiffen everything up. Increase throttle response. It's still very smooth and comfortable, but it doesn't feel as like floaty around the corners. But again, I don't think that people buying this are really going to care about that too much, because ultimately this is a people mover, and well, a luxury people mover at that. But it's so comfortable. Like, there's definitely a difference between a Mercedes and a regular vehicle, you know, like from a non-luxury automaker. You just the quality with how everything feels in the car, and again, the noise insulation, all of it's just so top notch. And like going over this stuff, don't even feel it. It's great. And I think also having just really nice padding on the seats helps out quite a bit. But let's see how this thing accelerates. It sounds really good, actually. The inline six sounds really good. Again, I don't think that people that are going to be buying this really care about that too much though. But what I can tell you is it'll get up to highway speeds fine. I can tell it's got the torque, it's got the horsepower. It feels like more than enough from an acceleration perspective. It's not crazy out there. Again, if you want more acceleration, get the 580. But let's sum things up here. So first off, I think it's a good looking vehicle on the outside. It doesn't have as much road presence as the S-Class sedan, even though it's an SUV and it's a lot larger. It just, I don't know, it doesn't quite have the same presence. But interior is fantastic. Build quality is fantastic. Mercedes is really good with that. I love how like half the dash is the speaker. That's pretty cool. The sound system in these cars is just, again, top notch. Yeah, I mean, $90,000, it sounds like a lot, but for everything you're getting here from a luxury perspective and the quality that you're getting and all that, it's actually somewhat of a bargain, right? Because, you know, a lot of other luxury manufacturers probably charge you a little bit more to get a similar experience as to what this gives you. And there's a lot of non-luxury manufacturers, frankly, now that will charge similar amounts of money to this. And so, yeah, I'm actually surprised that this is as inexpensive as it is, even though $90,000 is still a lot of money. So, yeah, if you want, you know, the S-Class of SUVs, if you want a really smooth, comfortable SUV that, you know, is basically just going to be an amazing daily driver and a people mover and all that, and you want more ground clearance than what a sedan has, that's what this gives you. I really like it. I'm a fan. I think the 450 is the route to go. I love the 580. Powertrain's great, but I think this is the one to go because of the cost, and I think this powertrain's more than enough. That's going to sum things up for a video on this GLS. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with the GLS. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.